welcome back to Little Arthur Independent's Introduction to Homeschooling series. Today we're answering one of the big questions we get asked a lot. What does my child actually need to learn? Or more specifically, do I need to follow the national curriculum with them? Let's start with defining our terms. The national curriculum is the framework that state schools in the UK have been given so that they can ensure that each child in the UK is more or less learning the same thing at the same time. It differs between each of the devolved nations, but it should mean that schools are able to be compared against each other. It would be very difficult for the government if one school was focusing on ancient Greek and the next one was focusing on biology to see which one was doing the best sort of teaching. So by having everyone learning the same thing at the same time, it allows for standardised testing through things like the SATs. Does this apply to you as a homeschooler? No. You are not obliged to follow the national curriculum. And as a side note, your child doesn't have to do SATs papers either. Those are just for the schools. You may find them helpful as a measure of your child's personal progress, but there's no requirement that you do them. So, do you want to teach your child the national curriculum? There are disadvantages to it. It's quite restrictive. If your child has, for example, a talent for linguistics, or a passion for music or athletics, then rigidly following the national curriculum might prevent them from achieving their personal best. It can also be quite overwhelming. There are lots of topics to cover, and your child may not work at the same pace that a state school would expect them to, or may not have an interest in covering the full range of topics. You don't want to overwhelm your child. You want to do the best for them as an individual, so you may find that the full national curriculum just doesn't work for them. Some parents also find the content inappropriate, either altogether or specifically for the age of child it's directed at. As a parent, you have the freedom to decide what your child needs to learn, and as long as you're providing them with an education which is suitable for the environment they're going to grow up in, then you have no obligation to teach them certain things at certain times. However, there are some advantages to the national curriculum too. In fact, at Little Arthur Independent, our 11 to 14 courses are roughly based on the national curriculum. And I put the links below so you can see what the national curriculum in each part of the UK is. We find that they're helpful because as homeschoolers, our obligation is to provide an education which is suitable for our children. Suitable, you'll remember, means sets them up to succeed in the society they're growing up in. We want our children to thrive. And we as a school think that the best way to do this for most students is to encourage them to take GCSEs or IGCSEs. These are the exams that most students take around 15, 16. The only difference between the GCSEs and the IGCSEs is the I stands for international. They're both equally accepted in colleges, jobs, universities across the UK. Why do we think those are useful? A lot of jobs look for 2 GCSEs as a starting point. English and maths are the common ones. If your child has those GCSEs, it opens doors for them. If they want to go into further academic study, then often 5 GCSEs is the requirement. And knowing which GCSEs to take can really help. But we also think they have application in life. We teach environmental management and agriculture as 2 of our options. They're quite unusual GCSEs, but they're ones which give students a broader understanding of the world they live in and can be really useful for developing them as rounded individuals. So although the GCSEs have their flaws, some people have real issues with the exam structure as a way of measuring achievement, they are useful, and we believe that working towards them makes for a suitable education. So if you've studied the national curriculum, particularly between the ages of 11 and 14, when you come to GCSEs, you'll find you've got a good grounding. And that's the real advantage of following the national curriculum. The GCSEs tend to follow on from it, so students aren't too overwhelmed when they get to it if they've already got those bases covered. So in summary, you don't need to follow the national curriculum, but you may find that elements of it are helpful. However, we believe that it's most useful as a starting point. One of the best parts of my work is reading about what my students are getting up to outside the national curriculum. I love reading about the blacksmith, the ballet dancer, the small business owner, They are going far beyond the remit of the national curriculum, and they are excelling as individuals and achieving their own personal best. So that's what we believe is a great thing to do. Use the national curriculum as a starting point and build from there. Thank you for listening. Look forward to talking to you again. Please, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments below and we'll get back to you. Thank you.